What's up, guys? Welcome to the show today. Are you anxious in any way, shape, or form? I certainly can be an anxious person, and today's podcast is for you if you find yourself along those lines. But you also say to yourself, I don't want to do a bunch of drugs. I don't want to take a bunch of stuff. I don't want to do this. I don't know. There's got to be a better way to do it. And maybe there is for you. So let's not waste any time. Let's bring in Dr. Anna Marie Frank. She is the author of the book right there, Stop Bullying Yourself. She is also the woman who created a product that I take in my daily life called Calm You. So again, this is not a commercial for Calm You. I just wanted to point out that this person on the right side of me is heavily invested in figuring out this this thing that kind of bubbles up. And you and I were just talking, Dr. Anna Marie, before we got started. You say you're seeing more and more people that are afflicted with anxiety. What does that look like? What do you mean there's more and more people coming to you, and what are their symptoms?
Well, I mean, this is across the board. I'm talking high school kids to even some elementary school kids, all the way up to people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and everywhere in between. And I mean, honestly, I went through, like, I'm not a person that has ever considered myself anxious or somebody who has quote unquote anxiety. I will say, though, about 9 months ago, I went through this period where I felt like my hormones were shifting. There was a lot going on in my life, more and more pressure. And I think I was like on the cusp of burnout, for one. But it was the first time, well, I'll say the second time in my life that I have experienced full on anxiety, like heart beating really fast, didn't want to go out in public, didn't want to be around people. It felt so hard to just do basic things that I could usually do in my sleep. And there was something going on. And ultimately, it was my nervous system screaming out, like, you're not okay. We need to take a break. And, this, and I'm a high performer. I'm somebody that is doing multiple things. And those are the type of people I see. But then I also am seeing these kids that are going to school, and they're reflecting back to me feelings and emotions that are of these high performers that are running, multiple companies. So anxiety doesn't discriminate. It shows up when the nervous system goes offline and we are not able to self-soothe. And there are many ways that we can do that. And unfortunately, some of the ways that are socially acceptable are drinking alcohol, taking anxiety, marijuana. And ultimately, these are just Band-Aids on a deeper issue that's going on, in my opinion.
All right, I'm going to address a couple of those things that you just mentioned. So I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink, and I haven't drank since 2006. But I can tell you that I used alcohol in a lot of ways to settle myself down, be a little bit more comfortable in social situations, that kind of thing. I've also tried anxiety medicine along the way. And what I can tell you is that medicine made me feel like shit. Like I never felt worse than when I was on anxiety medication. And I'm just speaking for myself. There are a lot of people it really does. It helps them. And that's amazing. Great. For me, it didn't. And then I spent a lot of time using cannabis and smoking weed or taking edibles or something like that. And and recently, and so I've probably been smoking cannabis or vaping or taking edibles in some way, shape, or form, like since I was in my early 20s. And just about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I made the determination to cut all of it off. And so I've been cannabis free now for like 6 or 7 weeks. I'm bringing all of this up to say to you that I'm almost certain that drinking, taking pills, and using dope made me more anxious. Like in some ways, it actually made the problem worse. And I'm speaking to people as a guy who used it and weed specifically. Like, if you would have asked me 4 months ago, like, dude, you don't like, why you smoking? I'm like, to just calm the flip down. Like it just it chills me out. And I don't know that it chills you out. I think it numbs you out. And then when you're off of it, then the anxiety comes right back. And it's kind of this vicious cycle that I found myself in. All of this to say, and I want your opinion on this, it's been my experience now that I'm actually a little calmer now that I'm using something like not dope, not weed, not pills that are made for anxiety. I'd love your opinion on that.
Yes. Well, I mean, we need to get to the root issue, right? All of those things are called Band-Aids. Those are covering up something deeper going on. And we can peel back the layers of trauma. We can peel back the layers of stress in our lives. One of the foundational things I go to in the body, and I did not know this until I started studying this, is like, for example, vitamin B6. B vitamins are soluble vitamins, meaning your body's going to use what they need and you're going to urinate out what you don't. Methylated B6 is so important. It's actually a cofactor to help produce and increase GABA in the brain, which is a neurotransmitter that helps with dopamine and serotonin. So this is a very important raw ingredient that if you're not getting, you're going to have a hard time producing that GABA. And that's one of the reasons why I put that in the Calm You. The other thing is using some of these herbs that can help in their adaptogens. They really help to lower cortisol. They help with stress resilience. And the reality is most people are not eating herbs every day. They're not eating vitamin and nutrient-rich foods every day. But they're still showing up and expecting their brain and their body to do a million different things without all the raw materials, the raw ingredients. So it's no wonder that over periods of time of stress, we have full-on anxiety. The body is meant to have these bouts, these moments of stress. But when they show up each and every day and acute stress becomes chronic stress and it's happening every day over time, it starts to deplete the body in these raw ingredients and these, materials that the body needs to produce neurotransmitters and all that. But then also we need to be replenishing every day. Well, most people are not replenishing every day. And when I go back to when I was having my episode, I wasn't even eating. I was literally coming in the office, podcasting, clients, going. And I was realizing my hormones were shifting, all this. I wasn't even eating enough protein during the day. I wasn't getting enough of the nutrients. So I hired someone to literally make me lunches every day and have them delivered because my brain and how I am, I will work through. So I'm burning the candle at both ends and then boom, explosion. And so I think there's a lot of layers that we get to peel back when it comes to someone experiencing anxiety. It's not something we have. It's something our body's experiencing because it's trying to communicate with us that something's not right.
Can we pause right there? You just said something that's so important. And Dr. Dave has said this 100 times on our podcast. This idea about don't ever say you're an anxious person. Just say I'm experiencing anxiety right now because the moment. And so I just wanted, you said that and I was like, we have to make sure people understand that you are not an anxious person. Don't define yourself that way. Even if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety right now, just go with that word. I am experiencing a lot of anxiety because then I think what that, gets back to my Air Check Your Life framework. What's going well, what's okay but needs a tweak, and what should you stop doing? You should stop telling yourself you're an anxious person. It's okay to say I'm experiencing it. And then what are you doing that's going to help you move through the anxiety? That'll be in that first category of what you're getting right. So this begs the question. I mentioned that I stopped all these products. I probably should have kept going and said what I have replaced them with is just more mindful meditation, a little bit more of a spiritual connected practice, working out almost every single day. I did invest in one of those pulsetto devices that works on the vagus nerve to kind of calm the body down. And I've noticed that those things has had a really nice impact as I transition from, cannabis and anxiety medicine and alcohol and all the things I used to use into helping me feel a little bit better. So what are you getting right? What could people start getting right about taking care of their anxiety when they experience it?
Well, the first thing is to take a breath and breathe, because when we do deep breathing, it does activate that vagus nerve. And you can spend the $200, $300, $600, $800 on those devices to stimulate it, but you can also stimulate it on your own with box breathing. You can stimulate it on your own with singing, listening to a good song, but singing along with that song is really, really powerful. And taking yourself and going outside to get natural sunlight. Sunlight increases serotonin, which is your mood stabilizing hormone, really important. And like get out of the environment that you're in for a few moments to breathe and get sunlight. I think that's really important to get outside. And then, the reason I also created the Calm You is because it is loaded with these key factors that you could go out, and most people have these in different bottles on their counter. So one of the main ingredients is holy basil. It's an adaptogen. It's been shown to help lower cortisol, be more resilient with your stress, help balance your mood and support your nervous system, that's a really great herb. And then lemon balm. Lemon balm is like so great. It actually helps with GABA production, which is that neurotransmitter that is a calming neurotransmitter in the brain. Really, really good with that. And then like L-theanine as well. L-theanine puts you in more of this alpha state, which is 8 to 12 hertz, which is where you're alert, but your body is calm. Like that's the game. Like how many executives and people can be alert, like I'm focused, I'm paying attention, but my body is okay. I'm calm. I'm not all jittery and up and like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So it's this switch that we get to turn on or turn off based on what we're putting in our body, based on how we're breathing, based on are we outside? Are we inside? What are we allowing our thoughts to do? Are we allowing our thoughts to run wild, or are we taking a step back and saying, oh, is that true? Okay, what if I took a deep breath right now? So there's so many layers to feeling anxious. And I think that going back to the foundations of health and really figuring where is this anxiousness coming from? Like I said, I think the thing where my anxiousness was coming from a few months ago was the fact that I was not replenishing my body how I should have. I was working way too much, burning the candle at both ends, not getting outside during the day, not taking my deep breaths, not meditating, not doing those basic things that we need to do to calm, because we are living in a society that says go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And we're not meant for that.
I want to ask you 2 questions if I can. Are we at a decent place to pause and ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me hit you with 2 of them, and I want you to answer both. The importance of the environment that you're in, and the importance of lack of action, meaning you need to take some sort of action towards something, but you're not. So let's start with environment. How important is our environment as it relates to us experiencing anxiety in your opinion?
Oh, I would say that is probably 90% of it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
really, your environment, there's this thing called epigenetics. Your genes are going to express based on what your environment is telling your genes to do. Your genes are not telling the environment what to do. The environment is telling you what to do. So that is like everything. Our environment is everything.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So it's like you could medicate, you could take pills, you could take B6, you could drink all the lemon balm you want in the world, but like at the end of the day, it's your environment that plays such a huge role in you experiencing anxiety. Give me your opinions on the lack of action, because I know for me, and I want you to be honest and tell me kind of where you are too, but is that a factor for you? It's this idea that I don't want to say I even kind of, because I'm discounting it. I know what I need to do. I know I need to do something different or take action, whether that's getting out of my environment or not be around this person or stop doing this behavior or whatever it is. When I don't act, that I experience anxiety. Like I go 0 to 100, right? Is that true for you too?
Kind of. I mean, I'm going to take a key play out of Courtney's rule book or notebook or whatever, playbook, I guess is what I'm.
Yeah, right.
And really say it's almost like we get to do less. And I think that where the anxiety for me when I experienced it was coming from is because I was actually acting too much. I was doing too much for too many other people, saying yes to all the things, because what would it mean if I didn't? What would it mean if I disappointed them? And so I was doing it at the cost of myself. So I almost think it's less action and stepping away. I mean, there's been some relationships and some things that I have literally just stepped away from. And the people pleaser in me, if I sit and think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you just left them hanging or whatever. But it's at the same time, it's like, I have to show up for myself. And I have to realize like my boundaries and what I'm willing to let in and what I'm willing to not. So I think there's two types of anxiety. I think there's a type of anxiety of where you're looking forward to the future and you have all these things that you want to do and these things that you get to take action on. And it feels overwhelming at the time because you're trying to bite off the whole thing all at once. And we get to take little steps. And then I think there's also the anxiety that comes from not wanting to disappoint people. And you're in over your head and you feel like you're drowning and everything feels so important when really it's only one or two things that are important, but we're giving them all that attention and all the importance as if they're all number one and they're not. And so it's really a moment to take a step back and take inventory of your life. And I help so many executives and leaders do this because, again, we feel like it's all important. And that's the thing that is like hilarious. But, like a couple people in my life can look at what I'm doing. They're like, should you really be doing that? Is that really that important? And I'm like, well, yeah. But then and I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's really not. So when we're in it, sometimes we can't see it. And that's why working with coaches and working with professionals, I mean, like just when you help other people with their podcasts, right? They feel like all these things are so important and they got to do all these things. And then it becomes overwhelming. And then they're like not doing the thing. And you come in and you're like, hey, this, and this are the where we can start. We just got to get this rolling. Right. And it's like, it's almost like it's simplified. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I love about the coaches I get to work with and how they help me is I'm like, oh yeah, okay, thank you for that.
Well, and I want to be clear about that. I think you nailed it right there. It's like action is not only like doing a bunch of things in your life, but it's also taking action to eliminate things from your life and taking action to stop people pleasing and taking action to put up boundaries. And so, it's good that we kind of define both. Look, we've got a couple of minutes left. I mentioned up front that, I take Calm You and it's been really helpful for me. And again, this isn't a commercial for Calm You, but it's more or less to say there's things out there like this that could help people. And I have that QR code in the top right that if you just scan that with your phone right now, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, it'll take you to the product page where you can buy that through Happy Whole You. Is the B6 in here? Is the L-theanine in here? Is that what you've got going on? Is the lemon balm all up in there?
It's all up in there. GABA, L-theanine, lemon balm, B6, the magnesium. I took everything that could help with the nervous system and calming. And one of the most cool things about it, it doesn't make you sleepy. It doesn't make you tired. It takes that layer of yuck off. So again, you can be present and be alert, but have a calm body. So some people are like, oh, I don't want it to make me sleepy. And it's like, no, it doesn't make you sleepy, which is beautiful.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for being on with us as always. These are great conversations to have. And I have to give you props. I just got our reports back today from our podcast, and the podcast that you and I did on the tongue, is like going nuts right now. And just the other day, like more than 400 people found the podcast and downloaded it, and for really good reason. So for those of you that haven't listened to it, you can go back and listen to the one that Dr. Hannah Marie Frank and I did on the tongue. And you can see why everybody's gravitating toward that episode. Thanks again for jumping on and jamming with me today.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to throw one thing, if we're going to talk about the tongue, just real quick.
Let's go.
If you stick your tongue out and relax it and let it hang out, but it won't stop quivering, like your tongue should just be able to go like this. But if it keeps moving, that is a sign that you should probably take Calm U, because if you're not burnt out and if you don't already have anxiety, it is a brewing, it is a coming, because your nervous system is already on edge and the tongue is already trying to signal that to you.
Interesting. All right. She's the author of Stop Bullying Yourself. Go have a look-see on there, and we'll link to her in the show notes. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe if indeed you enjoyed the content. And we'll see everybody next time. Have a great rest of your day, Anna.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.